Hello, and thanks for tuning in. Chances are if you're watching this video, you're seeing this little text box right beneath the video window, and that's there as a result of this interaction between a representative from YouTube and one of these government oversight committees.
Conspiracy theory content generally, our goal is to promote authoritative content to our users. So we have two principles that guide the way here. That's the first one, is we want to provide users with authoritative, trustworthy information.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I only have a minute and a half, and I don't really need to hear what you're trying to provide. I want to know how you're dealing with all these conspiracy theorists on your platform.
So the first way is by demoting low-quality content and promoting more authoritative content, and the second is by providing more transparency for users. So we're introducing boxes that provide factual information at the top of results that have shown themselves to turn up a lot of information that is counterfactual, such as searching for the earth is flat on YouTube, where you see a lot of...
Your response is to put a box saying, nope, the earth is not flat.
Correct.
Okay.
Such as searching for the earth is flat on YouTube, where you see a lot of...
Your response is to put a box saying, nope, the earth is not flat.
Correct.
Okay.
So basically what YouTube is saying is that they don't really trust you to gather information on your own to come to a reasonable conclusion about what is and isn't real. So if you see someone that makes a chemtrail video, they're going to insert contrail right down there to say that chemtrails aren't even a real thing. Let's just get into the article that substantiates what we've been saying all along. All right, this article's from IFL Science. It says, blocking out the sun won't fix climate change, but it could buy us time. The Paris climate talks hope to set out how we can reduce the amount of carbon we're pumping into the atmosphere, but emissions cuts alone may not be enough. Atmospheric CO2 is the blanket that keeps our planet warm, and any further emissions will mean more global warming. Observations in recent years show that warming is accelerating, that polar ice and glaciers are all melting, that sea level is rising. It all looks rather bleak, they say. Could we directly engineer the climate and refreeze the poles? The answer is probably yes, and it could be a cheap thing to achieve, maybe costing only a few $1 billion a year. But doing this, or even just talking about it, is controversial. Some have suggested there is a good business case to be made here. We could carefully engineer the climate for a few decades while we work out how to reduce our dependency on carbon, and by taking our time, we protect the global economy and avoid financial crises. I'll leave a link in the description for this article. So I just wanted to read a little bit from that article. Didn't want to read it in its entirety like I normally do, because it's basically saying things that we already know. They're presenting this as if it's a new idea, when in actuality, we in the truther community, we've been talking about this for years, as far as geoengineering, or chemtrails is the less popular term. But we've been discussing this for quite some time already, and now it's becoming more of a mainstream concept. But there are still going to be people who have a hard time grasping this concept, given that it's coming from so-called conspiracy theorists, when in actuality it's also come out from a former CIA director when he was talking to the Council on Foreign Relations.
Another example is the array of technologies, often referred to collectively as geoengineering, that potentially could help reverse the warming effects of global climate change. One that has gained my personal attention is stratospheric aerosol injection, or SAI, a method of seeding the stratosphere with particles that can help reflect the sun's heat in much the same way that volcanic eruptions do. An SAI program could limit global temperature increases, reducing some risks associated with higher temperatures and providing the world economy additional time to transition from fossil fuels. This process is also relatively inexpensive. The National Research Council estimates that a fully deployed SAI program would cost about $10 billion yearly.
Maybe you didn't want to hear from John Brennan. Maybe that's not cool enough for you. Maybe you want to hear it from Joe Rogan while he talks about cloud seeding.
Do you know in the United Arab Emirates, they make it rain every week? Once a week, they make it rain.
I mean,
they seed the clouds.
Really?
And make it rain. Yeah, because they're in the desert. And they're like, I don't like this. I like it to rain. So they put all that that they have to put into the sky to make it rain, which they've been doing forever, cloud seeding, but insanely expensive. But they do it once a week.
So
52 times a year it rains there.
So what?
Regardless of how you feel about the situation, geoengineering is a real thing. It's not the same thing that was going on 20, 25 years ago. I remember being a young man. I would look into the sky and I would see a plane flying by. The plane flies by, there's a little contrail behind it, and it would vanish after a couple minutes. No problem. What happens now is the planes fly by, they leave a long-lasting, lingering streak across the sky that whatever is being sprayed, it spreads out. Multiple planes continue flying by, and after a while, the entire sky is completely overcast, and it's just a terrible situation to find yourself feeling helpless while you're looking up at these things happening, and you know that you're walking around breathing this stuff. It's easier to act like it's not real, but it's just so in your face. All you have to do is really look up in order to see these things. But that's just something that we all have to deal with at this point, and there's a lot of activism going on to mitigate this. But the bottom line is that this is now a mainstream topic. It's becoming more and more talked about out in the open because it's really hard to hide that, you know. Anyway, I just wanted to share this article with you and some thoughts about the whole situation. If you like what you saw here, please hit the thumbs up and share. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell so you get notifications when I upload a new video or when I go live. Other than that, that's all I got for this one. As always, be good to each other, take care of yourself, and stay flat. I'll see you next time. Thank you.